So, when last we left our heroic, wonderful party, we were crossing the ocean on eagles, magic eagles. And a dragon showed up, a salt dragon, one of the sons of Morag, showed up to attack us for no reason. It's a jerk. Well, it may have had a reason. It wasn't an objectively good reason, though. We're on these eagles, and we're flying flat out in one direction. And the dragon is coming up behind us. And it's slightly faster than the eagles. So, to simplify things, I don't mean to tease. I know that, well, I do mean to tease, but it's a good-natured teasing. The rules got a little bit complicated later on in this fight.
Yeah, we were supposed to, I wanted to do relative flying because we're all flying super fast, and I didn't want to track all that. So I was like, oh, everything's relative, right? It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then they made it absolute.
Yep.
And then everything just went, yeah.
Yeah, I see. As soon as you go from relative to absolute, everything gets haywire.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a series of incremental steps where each turn we did something a little stupid or strange or whatever.
Well, and part
by
of it
the
is,
end there, it was all over the place.
I started with just like, I'll make up my own house rule off the cup for this situation. And then that house rule kept getting stretched and stretched and stretched, and I had to add it up more and more and more. And people wanted to do things, and I had ruled that they couldn't do them, and it was like, well, why? Because I said so.
Yeah, we wanted to do things that made sense in when you're viewing it as a realism thing. The rules were weird. So anyway, but we'll get to those as they come. So the first thing that happens, let's see now, this was 2 weeks ago, I gotta think back. We're some distance out ahead of this guy, and he's slowly coming up on our tails. Some of us are ranged and some of us are not. And so...
Remember your eagles had gotten out of control, a few of them, because they'd been struck.
No, none of the... Actually,
that
was
a risk, but nothing...
none of the eagles actually got struck.
Okay.
But they weren't good at controlling them. So they could barely move them relative to the dragon. Mm-hmm. And the dragon could move around with impunity.
At one point, I was considering attacking my own mount with, what was it, the push ability, to shove it around. But fortunately, I made my rolls to control it. We'll get to that.
So what did you guys do?
So the problem initially was that it was going to be some of us are ranged and some of us are melee, and it was going to be a long time before the dragon actually got up to us, and it was probably going to hit us with breath weapons and stuff. So the melee guys needed to get to the dragon, and the ranged ones weren't quite so worried about that. So how did that go? Hank, I believe, was the first one to start going nuts with the...
Last session, Hank had jumped across onto the dragon.
Hank jumped onto the dragon
and started hitting it with
right,
his
that
hammer.
happened right at the end of last session. He did this awesome thing and got onto the dragon.
Really, on the back of it?
Yeah. And so now Hank's all alone against this dragon. The rest of us are a couple of rounds ahead of it. So a bunch of us... We're all like, we gotta slow down to catch up to this, to get back to this dragon. No, that's okay, thank you. We have to get back to this dragon and save Hank because he can't fight it all on his own. And so, how did Croesus get back there? I know Croesus and Aurora...
Croesus just jumped off his eagle and started...
Yeah, he jumped into the water. Because we'd gone down to the water. And that's why things were really getting weird, was because we had this reference frame below us that was hurtling past at high speed.
Yeah.
And we were able to transfer between the two reference frames. And so John ruled that jumping into the water didn't instantly stop you, because otherwise you're gone. You know, and then you're out of the fight.
And if you did that to the dragon, it would just be annoying, because it would just be a series of then he slowly catches up with you, and like you can't get away from him before it just would be the slowest, dullest fight ever.
So I could have kept shoving him into the water with an at will, and eventually we'd have reached the shore. But still, things worked out. So John ruled that if you jumped in the water, you were like skipping along and slowing down over time. And so he kept track of how fast we were going, and our relative motion would increase. we started shoving the dragon in the water. And that actually was the real score for us, is we kept hitting that dragon with stuff that knocked it prone, stuff that shoved it in the water, stuff that immobilized it for a round. It had this special ability that got it out of immobilized real easy. But even so, it still wasted, a lot of its actions. Mm-hmm. So
actually, I think
it barely ever got a shot off at us.
Yeah, it's funny because it was super. It had good defenses against immobilized, restrained, and stunned. But no one ever did that. They only ever slowed it and dazed it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think there was at one point.
It really
someone tried one of the things that had the magic
abilities
against.
That was later. That was when Serendipity finally got there.
Slayer the Butcher, Brackenrage, Chocolate Towers, and Shepherd of Souls did that. Yeah.
She didn't want to jump in the water because it looked kind of icky.
Yeah.
So she kept flying on the eagle, and meanwhile Cricket drove her eagle into the water.
Yep.
And so
I was surfing the eagle to slow it down. That was the thing where I was considering I got to get this eagle into the water. If I can't roll high enough on my nature check to convince it, just use staggering notes. That's the one.
Yep.
I'll just staggering note my mouth downwards into the water.
But you were able to control it.
Yeah, because
I said you could use an Arcana check to control it too, because it's a magical eagle.
Yeah.
So Cricket controlled the eagle into the water. Croesus and Aurora jumped off their eagles. And Rovain showed up.
Yes.
The cat turned back into an elf and started shooting at the dragon, which was quite effective.
Oh yeah, she was pinging away from a distance. Dragon never laid a claw on her, but she did massive damage.
You guys have the strangest sessions.
Yeah.
Did you say peeing?
Pinging.
Oh, that's different.
Pinging. Yes.
Because cat pee is pretty dangerous.
Yes,
It's usually ineffective against dragons.
With her thing that
I don't want to know how you know.
she's an elf and she has a feat that lets her use her longbow for sneak attack. So she's sneak attacking this thing with its longbow, and it's always like in the water or something.
Yeah,
so
we kept giving it combat advantage.
So pretty much the whole party except for Serendipity and Rovain
Then goes
surrounds this thing.
Towers,
and they're all around it. Aurora turns on her black hole thing that sucks the dragon to her. And then weakens it as long as it's adjacent to it. That's a really nasty ability.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Croesus does his thing that makes it so that the enemy can't move anywhere except towards him. And he's right next to Aurora. And so, I think he can't move anywhere except adjacent to him.
Just pass the tea.
So he could kind of get away and around Aurora, but it had to be in a really awkward way. It come out of the water and get at them, and they just kept hammering him with J's and shoving him in the water.
Cricket kept shoving him down back in the water. He's like, get back in the water, get back in the water.
They just piled on him. We probably could have described it more interestingly if it wasn't a week ago now. But.
Yeah, there was a whole series. I mean, it was round after round of us humiliating this dragon. It was fantastic. Though, yes, I was just going to get to the dragon.
It did finally get to do an attack.
Yes,
finally.
And what an attack!
Well, actually, the first thing it did is got to a position and it hit Croesus with its claw, which drained some of the water out of him. Desiccated him and did a little bit of ongoing damage and weakened him.
Yeah.
And then someone, I think during their turn, I don't know who it was. I think it actually was Cricket. Now that I think about it. No, he was moving to do it. He did it, and then there was like an attack of opportunity that hit him, and he dropped below his bloodied value, so he got to do his breath weapon for free. Which he hadn't even got it to do yet the first time.
Yeah, Cricket did that.
And he
I remember
hit with his breath weapon, and his breath weapon just draws all the liquid out of the area because it's a salt dragon, right? And he hits Croesus with it. And only Croesus. He hit other people, but he missed. Yeah. Hits Croesus with it. If the person is already weakened, like already suffering damage, it does 40 ongoing damage, weakened and stunned, save ends.
It was horrendous.
Ooh. Wow.
And if you save out of that, you get
15 ongoing.
Was it
15.
10?
No, 15.
15 ongoing save ends. So, it was nasty. And Croesus had all these abilities and stuff that could give him like temporary hit points and damage reduction, stuff like that. But the problem is, he got blasted down through 0 hit points before he was able to trigger any of those things.
Well, it was because he was stunned.
Stunned, yes.
He was still up, but he was stunned. So he couldn't use any of his... He had a whole bunch of minors that let him save out of stuff, but he's stunned.
So he got blown down through 0, and we were like just barely, we hit him with healing immediately afterwards and stuff, but still, he's got 40 ongoing damage. So it's going to take him back below 0 again, like every round. So we threw everything we had at him in one round to give him bonus saving throws. And he failed every single... There's like 6 of them. He did 6 saving throws in one round. And didn't save out of his 40 hit points ongoing. It was a gong show. But so instead we just kept pumping hit points into him. And we resumed humiliating the dragon so it wouldn't do that sort of thing again. And yeah, we just pounded on that dragon, and we kept him. We had him like in the water up to his neck, so it was just his head poking out. We were all bapping on the head over and over like that. And then finally, the dragon is like, what was it saying before? It was like,
well,
the dragon talked?
Yeah, it talked a few times.
Yeah, it had been taunting them like.
It was taunting us with like, I can't remember exact word.
Never escape from Eld the Unchainable.
Eld the Unchainable, that was its name.
Aurora tried to diplomacy it, and he was like,
"You're funny. I will keep you as a pet for a while."
Yeah.
And etc.
And then all of a sudden,
really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he did show up his unchainable nature because so that was when serendipity hit him with something that immobilized him. And he immediately got a massive attack on everyone adjacent to him, of which there was no one at that moment. And then he got an immediate save out of it, and he's a solo, so he's only got to roll 15. So it's super hard to stun, or super hard to immobilize or restrain him.
Yeah.
He has a 3/4 chance of just getting out of it free immediately.
Yeah.
And he did. And serendipity was like, she had spent the whole combat too far away. She's trying to do the slow way to slow down, which she wasn't good at. And she just got in range, like, finally at the end of the combat. And she used this ability and just shook it right off.
Yeah. So anyway, we had the dragon on the ropes.
And I think
Hank
someone tried to intimidate it and say, give up and surrender. And he immediately started it.
He wasn't intimidated. The dragon voluntarily said, but let's make a deal here.
Perhaps we can come to an agreement.
Yeah.
And they're like,
at this point, we were like, this thing has been mouthing off at us the whole fight. It's been trying to do all these horrible things. It tried to kill Croesus. We don't trust a word it's saying. What could we do to hold it to its word? We can't keep it. We can't chain it. It's Eld the Unchainable.
And Aurora tried to convince it to surrender. Like, well, surrender to us then.
Yeah.
I'll never surrender to scum like you.
Yeah.
Worthless, mewling scum.
So we killed it. We're like, well, okay.
Yeah, he was really trying really hard to end the fight without officially surrendering.
And we were having none of that because this thing was completely untrustworthy and nasty and stuff. So it was surrender or die, and it was like, well, all right then, and then we killed it. And then at the beginning of this, that was when the session. So one session was the whole dragon combat.
Well, actually, they had blown a lot of their dailies, and they were actually most of them weren't hurt.
I forgot the timeless trek.
Oh yeah.
That was a big deal changer. Cricket hit it with timeless trek in the Thrende, which made it go away for at least a round.
Yeah.
And that was when we started piling on the healing on Croesus to get him back alive again and stuff like that.
And Hank was riding it at the time.
Yeah, so
he tried to make an Arcana check to hold on so he could see where the timeless trek takes you, but he failed.
So he just fell in the water, yeah. And then we had to scramble to get out of the return zone, because if there's someone in the return zone when the dragon returns, it can choose where to reappear, as long as it's adjacent to the obstruction.
Right.
But if there's no one in the return zone, it has to return there.
Right.
And so we got out of the return zone, and then we spent a round healing up Croesus and stuff like that. And then it failed its save, so we got another round to prepare. And so we readied every action. So when it came back, we dropped the hammer on it, quite badly.
And that's what killed it.
Is that actually what killed it?
No, that's true.
Because
everyone hit the right actions.
Yeah, and that brought it right
and then
down
the
to the
turn.
floor. Oh yes, that's right. That's right. We were going. That was a fun round because we'd all readied these various actions, and furthermore, a bunch of us had triggered actions. We had a bunch of triggered actions that compounded the readied actions. And then it was our turn. And then we did our turn, and again, we're pounding. So we did a lot. We threw a lot of damage at this thing all at once. And then it was ready to quote-unquote surrender, only not really. And that's when we killed it. So yeah, the timeless trek really made a big difference there. It was the knockout punch.
While they were panting and weakened from this dragon fight, a group of marauding mermaids, or merman, maybe both, came up and were like, get out of here, this is our ocean, we own that dragon now.
So we did...
And they ready their weapons.
Was it Cricket or was it Hank that did the intimidate?
It was Hank.
Sorry, Hank, yes. Was it Hank or was it Aurora, actually?
They probably did it together, I don't know. I think it was Hank. Actually, it was Hank that drove those guys off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was just like, we just killed a dragon, get out of here.
Yeah, he did an intimidate check. And between all the situational bonuses and the assistance from other party members and stuff like that, it was like 50 or something.
Not quite that high.
It was ridiculous. A ridiculously high intimidate check. And so the mermen were all like, okay.
We'll be back with reinforcements.
And then they swam off. So we had time to part the dragon out.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but it is.
Because we can't carry the whole thing.
Wasn't it floating in the ocean?
Yeah.
Sinking in the ocean?
It was floating.
Salt doesn't float.
It had lungs.
I never thought of that. But, yeah, it was floating.
It had lungs.
It must have been pretty pincushion, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he started the fight by like, I'll toy with you, worthless scum. And he ended by being chopped up into pieces.
Quartered.
Yep.
And they put it all in their portable basement,
Yep.
which is what they called it.
Yeah.
They got
it's a portable hole with like a ladder that goes into it.
Yeah, it's like a big warehouse that they found at the innkeeper. That's where he kept all his stuff that he buried of the not his victims, but his things he had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
And
so in other words, it was already half full of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys had to keep.
And I described it as being about the same size as this room in our basement, and they know that like we're renovating our basement, so I've been obsessing about
So
that.
I immediately
they're
started
like,
planning about how we're going to renovate the interior of this.
So now it's a portable basement.
You should put a library in here.
Yeah.
So I am not a cat anymore. I am an elf once again. And I'm on the back of an eagle, which is very surprising. And Aurora just jumped off into this disgusting ocean of sliminess. And everyone seems to be fighting a dragon, which is very surprising. So I am going to go into the water too. And hopefully do as much helpful as I can. And not just be lying around licking myself and eating fish and curling up in a ball sleeping, because I feel rather useless. And it's rather annoying when I don't know when I'm going to turn into an elf. So hopefully I can do something useful finally and not have the taste of fish in my mouth anymore.
I'd never thought about it before, but where do dreams go when the dreamer wakes up? Maybe they just vanish, but maybe they don't. Maybe, you know, in some dream world, everyone here will still be alive, and they'll have to live with the things that I did to them, and these people are my friends. They're almost real. They feel so real. Oh, Cricket.
Yes? Yes, you wanted to speak to me?
Yeah, what happens to dreams when the dreamer wakes up?
That's an interesting question. Well, the dreams, I would imagine, come from the mind of the dreamer. And if the dreamer is awake, his mind is still intact. I guess
you're saying you'll
dream,
still be around if I wake up.
Yeah. I imagine that when the dreamer is awake, the dreams are asleep.
Huh. Listen, Cricket. I've got. I didn't want to do this, but I feel responsible for you, little Cricket, because you're very sick, and I haven't been able to help you the way that I should because I've been very busy. I'll be very, very busy trying to keep the elf out of Hank's head and trying to put the stars back in the sky and all these things that keep going wrong, and I'm trying to fix them, and I've got to try and look out for you, little Cricket, because someday I'm going to wake up and I don't know what's going to happen to you. So when I go away, you shouldn't be scared, but when I go away, the part of you that thinks it belongs to me now thinks it belongs to the Grey Wall, okay?
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to give you an order.
All right.
This is very important, Cricket.
All orders are very important.
I wish that I could help you some other way, but I just can't think of it. Help heal the world, Cricket.
Help heal the world.
The world is hurt badly. Particularly in this dream, the world's wound is very bad, and everyone pretends it's not a big problem. But I'm ordering you. You don't have to make it all of who you are, but before you die, help close the world's wound. You're sick, and I can't give you the help that you. It's okay, Parsnip. It hurts, but you're gonna be a cat again, and I'm gonna try to fix you too. Okay, I will. But I've got to help Cricket right now, and I can't give you much, but I can give you the Grey Wall. They'll help you there. So if everyone else goes away, and even if they don't, help the Grey Wall. Help heal the world.
All right.
You'll do this.
Yes. If you die, your share goes to the Grey Wall.
Forgive me. It's an order, okay?
It's
okay. Parsnip. I'll pet you. Okay, I'll pet you.
Thank you. Thank you for the order.
Dear Diary, well, as you know, the day started with the awareness that my brother is missing. And then out of nowhere, this dragon attacked us. I told him when he came, he should run away. I told him a few seconds later, he should run away. And then I told him again, he should run away. And every time he scoffed, and chose not to. So then, the very last minute, he decides, oh, maybe he should run away. And I asked him if he was begging for mercy, and he didn't get finished his insult because he died. On one hand, I don't really enjoy killing things, but on the other hand, his arrogance, his anger, his just vile nature reminded me so much of my brother, and I thought, just for a moment, maybe this is him. Maybe this is my brother come to get me. Obviously it wasn't, because my brother would not be that easy to kill. I've got to get a grip. This is not me. I'm not like this. Everything will be okay. We just have to find him and get him back where he belongs. And then everything is going to be okay. I just don't know how we're going to do that.
This introspective moment is going to be a bit unique, as I will be speaking with two voices, although they will sound the same because I am speaking with one mouth. So, yes, this is interesting because I'm attacking with a sword, which is not something I'd normally do. Normally I'd be comfortable just using my hammer. Well, yes, I prefer to use a sword. Don't you remember? I told you about that. Yeah, but why? And why does weird magic-y things happen? That's a good question, Hank. I don't... Like, I know I can do things, but I don't remember why. I don't remember what I did before that let me be able to do these things. Well, why didn't that thing I felt like I could, like, poke the dragon with my sword and make him slow down, but it didn't work. Why couldn't I get that to work? Well, maybe it's because your stupid, fat, hairy shifter body doesn't work with magic. Okay. Enough with the insults. Okay, whatever. You're right, I'm not magically inclined. So, but I was able to teleport, and I was able to turn invisible. That was actually really cool. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Let's do that again. Well, I can't do it a lot. It's a pretty big attack. Okay, but what about the slow down thing? It's electric. Wait. I've seen this before with the elves. You were an elf, right? Yeah. Why are you saying you're an elf, right? Of course you know I'm an elf. Okay, yes, you were an elf. Where did you come from again? I don't remember. It was 2 lifetimes ago. Okay, but I've seen elves do this zappy magic stuff with sword. The spell swords did that, didn't they? That does sound familiar. Spell sword. Were you a spell sword, Dastria? I think I was. So what does that make me? What does that make us? I don't know, but I think we might be a force to be reckoned with. And we did hammer that dragon pretty good, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Although, so did Croesus and Rovain. It was good to see Rovain. Yeah, it was. Well, I don't really know her, but you do. Well, I know her now because I, have your memories. Yeah, that was interesting. She hammered on that dragon pretty good with her bow. And, Aurora buffing us with her crazy awesomeness and, Cricket doing her cricket things. You made the dragon disappear. And then I disappeared. And they thought it was connected, and that was funny. Now you shouldn't make fun of your companions there. But it was funny, and it was fun to, play with it. You're hopeless, Hank.
Hang on, guys, I'm coming. Okay, slow down, Eagle. Turn around. No, don't go this way. Quit going forward. Turn around. Stop, guys. I'm coming to help. I really am. Slow down. Okay. Oh, Cricket, that's a brilliant idea. Forcing the eagle into the water and surfing on it. Okay, I'll do that next turn. Okay. Shh. Okay, hang on, guys. I'm coming. Slow down. Where are the brakes?
Croesus has given me a wonderful gift. He has given me an order. Oh, unfortunately, it's one I probably can't exactly fulfill, but I don't think that it's actually that big a problem. He said that, well, first, he bequeathed me, should he perish, that his share of me should go to the Oblin of the Grey Wall. And then he ordered me, upon his death, to work towards sealing the world's wound. Well, I can't exactly follow a posthumous order, but I'm sure that the Oblin of the Grey Wall will probably give me pretty much the same order. I think that's a pretty safe assumption to make. Sealing the world's wound seems to be a fairly important thing for them. So I can follow this order. I can follow it. And I shall. And I shall. Wow. How nice. Not that I hope that Croesus dies anytime soon, of course. I can't follow the order until he dies, but that doesn't mean I want him to die. That would be insane. No, of course not.